I'm standing here, a stupid, frilly pink bow in my hair, and the smell of too sweet frosting is making me sick. It's my 16th birthday party, the one I dreamed about, and it's happening all over again. But this time, it's not a dream. It's a nightmare I've already lived. My heart hammers against my ribs, a frantic bird trapped in a cage. Because I see her, Mira, my best friend, my killer. She's over by the patio doors, head bent, whispering into Mr. Henderson's ear. Henderson, my father's business partner, or at least he was. In her hand, almost hidden by the cascade of her perfect dark hair, is my phone. My phone, the exact same scene, the exact horrifying, life-shattering scene. It's like a movie I can't turn off, projected onto the inside of my eyelids. Last time, this moment was the beginning of the end. The moment the first domino fell, leading to the financial scandal, the reporters camped on our lawn like vultures. My father's face, gray and drawn, before the heart attack that stole him. And then me. Wasting away at 19, a hollow shell of grief and poverty, the cold seeping into my bones until I just stopped. But I'm back. I'm 16 again, and the air I'm breathing is thick with the perfume of betrayal. A wave of dizziness washes over me. The flashing lights from the hired DJ pulse, red, blue, gold, reflecting in Mira's eyes as she finally turns, a small, saccharine smile playing on her lips. That smile. I remember that smile. It's the same one she gave me when she'd borrowed my math homework, only to turn it in as her own and get the class prize. The same one she'd flashed when she'd accidentally let slip to my then-crush, Tom, that I had a ridiculously nerdy collection of unicorn figurines. Small betrayals, then. Practice runs for the main event. The flashback hits me with the force of a physical blow. Not a hazy memory, but sharp, visceral. Me giggling with Mira during countless sleepovers. Her asking to use my laptop, to see my phone, to look through my dad's boring office because she was thinking about a career in business. Innocent. That's what I thought. I see her, quick fingers snapping photos of private family documents on my father's desk. Documents about a legitimate but confidential business restructuring. Sensitive. Things competitors would kill for. And Mira, my Mira, served them up on a silver platter. The images flicker. Dad's face, pale and stricken, as the news broke, twisted by Henderson and others into a scandal. Fraud! The headline screamed. Embezzlement! Our assets frozen, the whispers, the stares, the move from our sunlit home to a cramped, damp apartment that always smelled of mildew and despair. Dad clutching his chest, his eyes wide with a pain I couldn't soothe, and me coughing into a threadbare blanket, the doctor's kindly, pitying face, telling Mom there was nothing more they could do. 19. I didn't even make it to 20. Mira is walking towards me now. Her expression is a carefully crafted mask of concern. Zara, oh my God, Zara, I am so sorry. Her voice is honey-laced with just the right amount of tremor. The performance is flawless. Last time I was a mess of panic, confusion, tears. I believed her. I actually comforted her. But this isn't last time. The shock of rebirth is fading, replaced by a chilling, razor-sharp clarity. I remember everything. Every sly insinuation she ever made. Every carefully planted seed of doubt. Every lie, every half-truth, every crocodile tear. I know her playbook cover to cover. The weaknesses she tried so hard to hide, her desperate need for validation, her fear of being ordinary. I see them all laid bare. Zara? She says, her hand reaching for mine. Are you okay? I think I did something awful. I was showing Mr. Henderson that funny video of you from camp, and then I must have accidentally swiped to your photo gallery. There were some pictures of your dad's papers. I didn't understand them, but Mr. Henderson looked so serious, and he asked me to send them to him. I didn't mean to. The lie is so audacious, so blatant. It's almost beautiful in its ugliness. Her eyes, those deep brown pools I once thought held only friendship, are gleaming with a sick, triumphant satisfaction, even as her lower lip trembles. She thinks she's won, again. The party is already dying. My parents are being called away by my mother's frantic ringing phone. An emergency business meeting, they'll tell me, their faces etched with a new, terrible anxiety. The music falters. Guests are starting to whisper, casting furtive, pitying glances my way. The air is thick with impending doom, just like before. But this time, something inside me is different. It's not breaking, it's hardening. A core of icy resolve. I watch Mira, this architect of my family's ruin, this viper I called sister, and I feel nothing but a cold, calculating calm. The grief is still there, a raw wound in my soul, but it's not consuming me, not anymore. She wants to play this game again. She wants to steal my life, my family, my future. Okay, Mira, I think, my voice, an internal whisper of steel. You want to play. This time, I know all your moves, and this time, the game is mine. The week after the party is a blur of feigned devastation. I'm a ghost in the school hallways, my eyes downcast, my shoulders slumped. I let Mira flutter around me, her voice a constant stream of performative comfort. Oh, Zara, I feel so terrible. If there's anything I can do. She's good, so good. She arranges for me to be excused from classes I'm too upset to attend, brings me lukewarm tea from the cafeteria, offers tissues with a mournful sigh. It's a carbon copy of my first life's misery, and I play my part to perfection. The withdrawn, heartbroken friend, grateful for Mira's unwavering support. Inside, though, I'm a scientist observing a particularly venomous specimen. Every saccharine word, every false gesture, I catalog it. I note how she subtly steers every conversation, even with teachers, towards my family's financial irresponsibility, her tone dripping with false sympathy. It's just so sad, she'd say to Mrs. Davison, our English teacher. Zara's parents always seemed so extravagant. I guess it finally caught up with them. I see how she reluctantly agrees with classmates who whisper about the scandal, adding little details that make it sound even worse, always ending with, "But Zara's my best friend. I'm just worried about her." The exclusion is subtle but effective. Invitations to study groups dry up. Lunch tables suddenly become too crowded. Mira, of course, always makes a show of trying to include me, only to be overruled by the others. "I'm so sorry, Z," she'd whisper, squeezing my arm. "They're just being awful." But my knowledge of the past is a weapon she doesn't know I possess. While she's busy weaving her web, I start my own quiet work. I remember names, faces, incidents that haven't happened yet in this timeline, but are etched in my memory. Sarah Jenkins, who Mira would later accidentally expose for cheating on a history exam, leading to Sarah losing her scholarship. David Miller, whose private journal Mira would find and share, humiliating him in front of the entire football team. I start documenting, not with a camera, like Mira, with my mind, and then, late at night, in a coded journal I keep hidden under a loose floorboard in my closet. I observe Mira's current interactions, looking for the telltale signs. And I find them. She's already laying the groundwork with Amelia Cartwright, another wealthy classmate. I see the same pattern, the overly solicitous friendship, the casual questions about Amelia's family's business, the innocent glances at documents left on Amelia's father's study desk when they're supposedly working on a project. Mira is a predator, and she's already stalking her next prey. One afternoon, I'm at Mira's house for one of our comfort sessions. Her room is a confection of pastel pinks and creams, a stark contrast to the darkness she cultivates. She leaves me to freshen up, supposedly overcome with emotion after I recount another detail of my family's suffering. I hear her in the hallway, her voice low and confidential. I creep to the door, cracking it open just enough. She's on the phone. "No, Mrs. Albright, I understand. The key is to position me as the one who tried to warn them, the loyal friend who got caught in the crossfire. If I can show a pattern of trying to steer Zara and perhaps Amelia away from their family's questionable practices, it paints a much stronger picture for the early admissions committee. Yes, a victim of circumstance, but one who showed remarkable resilience and moral character." College admissions consultant. Of course. Mira isn't just aiming for social dominance in high school. She's crafting a narrative for her future, built on the ashes of her friends' reputations. Her arrogance is breathtaking. She's so caught up in her own cleverness, so sure of her manipulations, that the thought of me overhearing, of me understanding, Doesn't even cross her mind. She hangs up, a smug little smile on her face, and then composes her features into a mask of sorrow before re entering the room. Oh, Zara, are you feeling any better? It's time for my first real move. It has to be subtle, something that doesn't reveal my hand. I start reaching out, not to the popular crowd Mira courts, but to the outliers. The scholarship students Mira barely acknowledges. The quiet kids in the art club she deems irrelevant. I remember Emily Tran, a brilliant coder, who Mira had once dismissed as that charity case. In my past life, Emily had been one of the few who'd shown me kindness after my fall before she, too, was pushed away by Mira's insidious whispers. I find Emily in the library, hunched over a robotics project. Emily, I say, my voice soft. I I know we don't really know each other, but things have been hard, and you always seemed nice. Emily looks up, surprised. I can see the caution in her eyes, probably wondering if this is some new form of torment orchestrated by Mira. But I keep my expression open, vulnerable. I talk about feeling isolated, about the whispers. I don't blame Mira, not directly. I just let my own carefully constructed pain show. And slowly, I see Emily's guard come down. She offers a tentative smile. It sucks what you're going through, Zara. I do the same with Liam, the aspiring musician who Mira once mocked for his secondhand guitar. With Chloe, the budding journalist Mira had tried to discredit because Chloe had started investigating the unusually high turnover rate of Mira's mother's charity board members. I don't force anything. I just offer a quiet understanding, a shared sense of being on the outside. I'm not gathering an army, not yet. I'm just planting seeds. Building bridges Mira can't easily burn. She thinks I'm collapsing, seeking solace in the shadows. She has no idea I'm building a new foundation. Then the invitation arrives, thick cream cardstock embossed with gold lettering. Mira Holloway and family request the pleasure of your company at a charity gala for young philanthropists. My stomach clenches. This gala, I remember this gala. It was the scene of my ultimate public humiliation in the previous life. The night Mira cemented her image as the compassionate friend and my family as disgraced frauds. Last time I'd gone reluctantly, dragged by my parents who still hoped to salvage some shred of their reputation. This time, Mira personally hands me the invitation, her eyes gleaming with that familiar predatory light. You have to come, Zara. It'll be a chance for people to see you're still you. And your parents can show everyone they're still committed to the community, despite everything. Her words are a trap, baited with false hope. She expects me to be a weeping, broken mess, an easy target for her carefully orchestrated spectacle. I meet her gaze, forcing a watery, grateful smile. Thank you, Mira. That's really thoughtful of you. We'll be there. Her own smile widens, triumphant. She thinks I'm walking right into the lion's den, just like before. Little does she know this time I'm the one setting the snare. The ballroom is a sea of glittering chandeliers and designer dresses. The air hums with polite chatter and the clinking of champagne flutes, or sparkling cider, for us underage philanthropists. Mira is radiant in a crimson gown, gliding through the crowd like a queen, her parents beaming beside her. My own parents look strained. They're trying to put on a brave face, but the whispers follow us like shadows. That's the Ashworth family, I hear a woman murmur behind her hand, the ones involved in that awful scandal. I clench my fists, the fabric of my borrowed dress, a demure navy chosen to look appropriately penitent, digging into my palms. This is it, the main event, Mira's masterpiece of cruelty. Just as I remember, Mr. Holloway, Mira's father, steps onto the small stage. He taps the microphone, his voice booming through the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for your incredible generosity tonight. And speaking of generosity, we have a special family we'd like to honor. A family who, despite facing recent challenges, has shown an unwavering commitment to supporting our community. Please welcome the Ashworth family. A smattering of polite, hesitant applause. My parents look bewildered. I take a deep breath. Showtime. We walk towards the stage, a spotlight pinning us like insects. Mira rushes forward, her face a mask of concern. "Oh, Zara, your parents are so brave," she whispers, loud enough for those nearby to hear. Mr. Holloway continues, his voice dripping with false sincerity. "The Ashworths have pledged a very substantial donation to our chosen charity tonight, a true testament to their character." He holds up a large ceremonial check. Then, Mrs. Chen, the gala organizer and Mira's mother's best friend, steps forward, a frown on her face. "Actually, Richard," she says, her voice carrying clearly, "there seems to be a problem with the Ashworth donation. The bank has informed us, well, the check bounced." A collective gasp ripples through the room. My mother sways, her hand flying to her mouth. My father's face is ashen. Humiliation, stark and brutal, washes over them. This is exactly how it happened before. The perfectly timed reveal designed for maximum impact. Mira looks shocked, her eyes wide, her hand covering her mouth in feigned horror. "Oh no, there must be some mistake." This is my cue. Last time I'd burst into tears, stammering incoherent apologies, practically fleeing the room in shame. This time the tears come, yes, I've been practicing my waterworks. But behind them, my mind is icily calm. I let out a choked sob. I don't understand. Dad? Mom? I look at them, my voice trembling. We have to fix this." Mira is instantly by my side, her arm around my shoulders. "It's okay, Zara," she murmurs, her voice full of theatrical sympathy. "We'll sort it out. Everyone knows you wouldn't do this on purpose." She's playing the compassionate friend, the loyal supporter, to the hilt. The whispers in the room are a mix of pity for me and condemnation for my family. Charity fraud, can you imagine? So embarrassing for poor Mira, having friends like that. I let her lead me away from the stage, my face buried in my hands, shoulders shaking. I catch a glimpse of her eyes as she glances back at the crowd. A flicker of triumph, quickly masked. She thinks she's won. She thinks she's finally broken me. The rest of the evening is a blur of averted gazes and hushed commiserations. My parents, mortified, make their excuses and leave early. I stay, enduring Mira's suffocating support, allowing her to parade me around as her pet project, the fallen friend she's so nobly sticking by. Every sympathetic pat, every whispered assurance, I file it away. I'm documenting everything, every nuance of her performance. She has no idea the real performance is mine. The next morning, the real work begins. The house is quiet, my parents still reeling from the public disgrace. I lock myself in my room. It's time to deploy the knowledge Mira herself so carelessly gave me. During those countless sleepovers in both lives, she'd been lax with her digital security, especially with me. Her passwords, written on a sticky note tucked inside her favorite book. Her secret email account, the one she used for her more sensitive communications. She trusted me, or rather, she underestimated me. Both times. My fingers fly across my keyboard. Her social media accounts are a treasure trove, just as I remembered. Screenshots. Not just of my family's documents, but financial details, private emails, embarrassing photos from at least 3 other prominent families in our circle. Planning documents, meticulously outlining how to leverage this information for social gain, how to create controlled leaks, to discredit rivals or elevate her own status, and then the jackpot. In her supposedly secure cloud storage synced to that secret email, I find the messages. A thread between Mira and a contact listed only as Fixer. Messages detailing her plan for the gala. Instructions on how to subtly provide Mrs. Chen with fake bank account details for my family's pledged donation, ensuring it would bounce. Proof. Irrefutable proof that Mira hadn't just stumbled upon a scandal, she had manufactured it. She hadn't just betrayed me, she had orchestrated my family's public crucifixion. My heart is pounding, but not with fear, with a cold, hard fury. She set out to destroy us, for sport, for ambition. I don't go to the school principal, I don't go to the police. That would make it my word against hers, a messy, public battle she'd probably relish. No, my revenge needs to be quieter, more insidious. It needs to come from a direction she won't expect. I carefully compile the evidence, the screenshots, the messages, the planning documents. I strip any metadata that could trace it back to me. And then I create a new anonymous email account. My target? Mrs. Chen, the gala organizer, Mira's mother's best friend. A woman known for her integrity and her fiercely protective nature when it comes to her own family. And, conveniently, a woman whose daughter's upcoming debutante ball plans are detailed in Mira's collection of social ammunition. Mrs. Chen trusted Mira. Mrs. Chen's family was also on Mira's list. The email is short, polite. Dear Mrs. Chen, I believe this information may be of concern to you and other families in our community. It appears your trust, and the trust of many others, has been deeply betrayed. Please review the attached documents carefully. A concerned friend. I hit send. The silence in the following days is deafening. Mira is insufferably smug, constantly checking in on me, her voice dripping with false concern. Are you holding up, Z? It's just awful what people are saying. Then, on Thursday, the first tremors start. Amelia Cartwright's mother calls Mira's mother, her voice like ice, canceling their family's upcoming joint ski trip. The reason given, a sudden and serious breach of trust. Friday morning, Mr. Henderson, my father's former partner, the one Mira whispered to at my party, is abruptly asked to resign from the board of the local country club after certain financial improprieties come to light, improprieties detailed in Mira's collection, which apparently Mrs. Chen, a fellow board member, had reluctantly shared. By Friday afternoon, Mira's phone is buzzing nonstop. I see her in the hallway, her face pale, her usual confident smirk gone. She's getting calls, angry calls, accusatory calls. Former friends, or rather former targets, are openly avoiding her. The whispers are starting again, but this time they're not about me. They're about Mira. The school day ends. I'm packing my bag when my own phone rings. It's Mira. Her voice is tight, laced with a panic I've never heard before. Zara, you have to help me. Something terrible is happening. People are saying awful things. They're accusing me. I don't understand what went wrong. Her voice cracks on the last word, a genuine tremor of fear replacing the practiced ones. I lean against my locker, a small, almost imperceptible smile playing on my lips. Wrong, Mira, I say, my voice soft, echoing her own brand of false innocence. Whatever do you mean? Mira's panic is a wildfire, consuming everything in its path. Her first instinct, just as I predicted from the ghost of my past life, is to deflect, to point the finger. She can't comprehend a world where she isn't the puppet master. It has to be Zara! I overhear her wailing to her mother on the phone that weekend, her voice carrying through the thin walls of the study where I'm supposedly being tutored by her in calculus, a pathetic attempt on her part to maintain some semblance of normalcy and control. She's trying to get revenge. She's jealous. She's always been jealous. She must have hacked my accounts, planted all that stuff. Her parents, usually so adept at navigating social minefields, are floundering. The evidence I'd sent to Mrs. Chen had spread like a contagion through their elite circle. The Chens, the Cartwrights, the Hendersons, even the Parkers whose son Mira had been subtly undermining in the race for student council president. They were all comparing notes, realizing the common denominator in their recent misfortunes and misunderstandings was Mira. When Monday rolls around, Mira launches her counteroffensive. She approaches our group of former friends, tears streaming down her face, clutching printouts of what looks like financial data. Look, she sobs, holding them out to a skeptical-looking Chloe. Zara faked these. She's trying to make it look like I was the one who caused her family's donation to bounce. She's trying to ruin me because she blames me for her family's problems. Chloe, the budding journalist, takes the papers, her expression unreadable. I watch from a distance, a knot of cold satisfaction tightening in my chest. I'd anticipated this. In my previous life, Mira had successfully used a similar tactic to discredit someone else who'd tried to expose her. But this time, I was ready. Over the past week, while Mira was basking in the glow of her supposed victory at the gala, I'd been busy. I'd confided in Emily Tran and Liam, my new, unassuming allies. I'm so worried, I'd told them, my voice laced with carefully rehearsed fear. Mira knows I'm devastated about what happened at the gala. What if she tries to say I did something to retaliate? What if she tries to blame me if her own actions come to light? I'd painted a picture of myself as a fragile victim, terrified of further persecution. So when Mira's accusations hit, they land with a dull thud. Instead of outrage on her behalf, there's a collective sense of recognition. It sounds exactly like the desperate, manipulative deflection I'd feared she'd resort to. Chloe looks up from the printouts, her eyes narrowed. These are interesting, Mira. But the timestamps on these supposed original documents you're saying Zara altered, they're all dated after the gala, after the news about the bounce check had already broken. Mira stammers, her face paling. Well, yes, I had to recreate them to show what Zara. Recreate them? Chloe presses, her voice gentle but firm. So these aren't originals? Mira flinches. The crowd around them is growing, listening intently. Her narrative is already starting to unravel. Later that day, during our computer science class, Mrs. Davis, our teacher, makes an announcement. Class, I want to commend Zara Ashworth. Over the past few weeks, she's been spending her lunch breaks in the lab, working diligently to improve her understanding of digital literacy and online security. She's shown a real aptitude for it, and her project on identifying phishing scams and protecting personal data was exceptionally well done. A few heads turn my way. I offer a small, modest smile. It's true. I had been spending time with Mrs. Davis. My past life knowledge of Mira's methods had shown me the importance of understanding the digital battlefield. I needed to be able to protect myself and to subtly demonstrate a level of competence that would make Mira's accusations of me being some master hacker look ridiculous. It also provided a perfect alibi for any supposed hacking activities Mira might accuse me of. I was learning under supervision. My new skill isn't about attacking, it's about defense, about understanding the terrain. It makes Mira's claims that I, the grieving, technically inept victim, could have orchestrated such a complex digital takedown seem even more far-fetched. It's classic Mira. Accuse others of what you yourself are doing. Projection. The final confrontation, when it comes, isn't public. It's in the sterile silence of the girls' bathroom after school. Mira corners me by the sinks, her usual immaculate makeup smudged, her eyes red-rimmed and desperate. The queen bee is visibly crumbling. Zara, please, she begs, her voice raw. You have to tell them it's not true. You have to tell them you made it all up. I'll do anything. I'll say you were upset, that you misunderstood. We can fix this. We can go back to how things were. I look at her, really look at her. The mascara is running in thin black rivulets down her cheeks. Her hands are trembling. The carefully constructed facade of confidence and control is gone, revealing the scared, manipulative girl underneath. And for a fleeting moment, I feel a strange pang. Not pity, not exactly. More like a faint, ghostly ache for the friendship I once believed was real. The friendship that never existed. Go back to how things were, Mira? I ask, my voice quiet, devoid of the tremor she's expecting. You mean back to you systematically collecting secrets and destroying people for your own amusement and advancement? Back to you using me, using everyone? Her face crumples. No, it wasn't like that. I made mistakes. I wanted people to like me. I wanted to be successful. By stepping on everyone else? I counter, my voice still low, but with an edge of steel she's never heard from me before. She lunges forward, grabbing my arm. You don't understand. My parents. They expect so much. If I don't get into the right college, if I don't have the right connections, I pull my arm away, not roughly, but decisively. And that gives you the right to ruin other people's lives? To destroy my family? To drive my father to his grave? The last words slip out, colder and harsher than I intended. The memory of his face, gray and still, flashes before my eyes. Mira recoils as if struck. No, I didn't know that would happen. Didn't you? I say, the cold satisfaction returning, eclipsing that flicker of sadness. Or did you just not care? She stares at me, her mouth opening and closing, but no words come out. The fight seems to drain out of her, replaced by a dawning, horrified understanding. She sees it in my eyes. I'm not the weak, pliable Zara she knew. I'm someone else, someone who sees her for exactly what she is. The unraveling accelerates with terrifying speed. Emboldened by Mira's obvious downfall, other students, Sarah Jenkins, David Miller, even some of the quiet ones I'd recently befriended, start coming forward with their own stories. Small betrayals, mean-spirited rumors, carefully orchestrated embarrassments, all tracing back to Mira. A pattern emerges, undeniable and ugly. Her meticulously constructed social empire isn't just cracking, it's imploding. The school administration, initially inclined to dismiss the gala incident as a misunderstanding, can no longer ignore the chorus of accusations. Mira's parents are summoned for an emergency meeting. I see them leaving the principal's office later that day, their faces grim. The air of entitlement that always clung to them is gone, replaced by a new, unfamiliar anxiety. The whispers in the hallway now have a different target. Mira, the girl who had everything, the girl who orchestrated lives like a chess master, is suddenly the one being dissected, judged, and found wanting. She walks through the school like a pariah, her head bowed, her former courtiers scattering like cockroaches when she approaches. The game isn't just beginning anymore, it's escalating, and Mira is learning the hard way that when you play with fire, sometimes you're the one who gets burned. Mira is a cornered animal. Her social standing is in tatters. Her carefully crafted future plans are turning to ash, and the school is buzzing with investigations. She makes one last desperate play. It's almost pathetic in its predictability. She finds me by my locker, her eyes shadowed, a new, harder glint in them. The tearful pleas are gone, replaced by a brittle attempt at intimidation. "Zara?" she says, her voice low and raspy. "I think it's time we had a real talk about your father." I close my locker slowly, my heart giving a strange, steady thrum. Here it comes. Her supposed trump card. "I know things, Zara," she continues, trying to sound menacing. "Things about his business. Things that prove he wasn't just a victim of some scandal. He was actually committing fraud. Real fraud. I have evidence. I was trying to protect you, trying to handle it quietly, but you forced my hand." I almost smile. This is the move I've been waiting for, the one I knew she'd make when all else failed. Attack is her best defense, after all, or so she thinks. "Is that so, Mira?" I ask, my voice calm, almost gentle. "You have evidence of my father's fraud?" She nods, a flicker of her old arrogance returning. "I do. And if you don't call off this witch hunt, everyone will know the truth." "The truth," I repeat softly. "That's interesting, Mira, because I've been doing some truth-seeking of my own." I pause, letting the silence stretch, watching the uncertainty begin to creep back into her eyes. You see, after everything that happened, after my father, I let my voice trail off, a hint of the old pain, genuine this time. I needed to understand. So I started looking into things. And I found a legal advocacy group. They specialize in cases of financial defamation, corporate sabotage, and things like that. Mira's eyes narrow. This isn't part of her script. "And through them, Mira," I continue, my voice gaining strength, "I discovered something truly fascinating. My father's business problems, the ones you so helpfully exposed, they weren't just the result of your little social games. They were orchestrated, part of a much larger, much more sophisticated scheme." I can see the confusion warring with fear on her face. What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about your family, Mira," I say, and now my voice is like ice. "Your family's business. Apex Consolidated. Funny how they always seem to thrive when their competitors suddenly face crippling scandals, isn't it? Funny how they always seem to be perfectly positioned to swoop in and pick up the pieces, the clients, the contracts." The blood drains from Mira's face. She looks, for the first time, genuinely terrified. "It turns out," I press on, the words falling like hammer blows, "that Apex has a rather unique approach to market competition. They don't just outbid or out-innovate. They dismantle from the inside, using social engineering, intelligence gathering, often through unwitting or sometimes very witting young people perfectly placed to gather information." I let that sink in. Mira is staring at me, her mouth slightly agape. The confident manipulator is gone, replaced by a girl who looks like she's about to shatter. My father's company wasn't a random target, Mira. It was a strategic elimination. Your parents wanted his contracts, his market share, and you were their most valuable asset. Their perfectly trained little operative. The revelation hangs in the air between us, ugly and undeniable. Mira isn't just a jealous, spiteful teenager. She's a pawn, a groomed weapon in her family's ruthless corporate warfare. Her betrayals weren't just casual cruelty, they were assignments. No, she whispers, shaking her head. No, that's not. My parents wouldn't they? I pull out my phone, not to show her photos, but to show her a file, a dossier compiled by the advocacy group. A history of Apex Consolidated's acquisitions, each one preceded by a competitor suddenly imploding under the weight of scandal, bad press, or internal strife. Patterns, dates, connections, all leading back to Mira's parents. Your little collection of secrets, Mira, I say, my voice dropping to a near whisper. The photos, the emails, the financial documents you so carefully gathered from all those families, it wasn't just for your high school power games. It was market research for your parents, ammunition for their corporate wars. Mira stares at the screen, her face ashen. She sees it, the dates aligning, the names of the families matching the companies Apex later absorbed or outmaneuvered. Her own meticulous notes, now reframed not as teenage gossip but as corporate espionage. The realization hits her with the force of a physical blow. She wasn't the brilliant puppet master. She was the puppet. Her parents hadn't just encouraged her ambition, they had weaponized it, and in doing so, they had exposed their entire operation. The advocacy group found it quite illuminating, I continue, my voice devoid of triumph, only a weary finality. They're already in contact with several other families. Families who lost everything, just like mine almost did. Families whose lives were torn apart by Apex's business strategy. Mira finally looks up at me, her eyes hollow. The fight is gone. The arrogance is gone. All that's left is a terrified, broken teenager who understands, perhaps for the first time, the true magnitude of her actions and the even greater magnitude of the actions she was complicit in. Your evidence, Mira, I say, the final piece clicking into place for her. The very thing you thought was your weapon against me, against everyone, it's actually the most comprehensive record of your family's systematic destruction of their competitors. You didn't just walk into my trap, you built it for me. She sways, and for a moment, I think she might faint. The power shift is absolute. The game she thought she was controlling has consumed her, and the rules were never what she believed them to be. The throne she was so desperate to claim was built on a foundation of lies, and it's crumbling beneath her feet. The desperate pleas begin almost immediately. That evening, the doorbell rings. It's Mira, flanked by her parents. Their usual impeccable tailoring looks rumpled, their expressions a mixture of fear and forced contrition. Mrs. Holloway, a woman I've only ever seen project an aura of icy control, actually has tears in her eyes. Mr. Holloway's jovial public mask is gone, revealing a pinched, anxious man. Zara, dear, Mrs. Holloway begins, her voice trembling slightly. We need to talk. There's been a terrible misunderstanding. My mother shows them into the living room, the same living room where, in another life, bailiffs had come to catalog our possessions. The air is thick with unspoken accusations. We only ever wanted what was best for Mira, Mr. Holloway says, his voice hoarse. These business tactics, they got out of hand. We see that now. Mira herself is a wreck. She's pale, her eyes swollen. She oscillates between tearful apologies. Zara, I'm so sorry. I never knew, I swear. And desperate excuses about being manipulated by her parents. They told me it was normal. They said everyone did it. And then back to frantic promises to make everything right. We can fix this. We'll give your father's company back its clients. We'll pay for everything. I listen, my expression unreadable. My parents sit beside me, silent, their faces etched with a pain that mirrors my own. They've now heard the full story from me, the rebirth, the deliberate, calculated nature of Mira's and her family's actions. The shock has given way to a grim understanding. When they finally run out of steam, a heavy silence descends. Then, I speak. My voice is calm, steady, a stark contrast to their frantic outpourings. You want to talk about misunderstandings, Mrs. Holloway? I begin, my gaze fixed on her. Let's be clear, there was no misunderstanding. There was a deliberate, systematic campaign to destroy my father's business and countless others. You used your daughter as a tool, a weapon, to gather intelligence and sow discord. I turned to Mira. And you, Mira? You weren't just an unwitting pawn. You reveled in it. You enjoyed the power, the control. You meticulously planned the downfall of people who trusted you, who called you friend. I list them. Every specific betrayal I can recall from this life and the last. The stolen documents. The bounced charity check. The whispers that destroyed Sarah Jenkins' scholarship hopes. The public humiliation of David Miller. The subtle sabotage of Chloe's journalistic ambitions. The way they targeted not just businesses, but the children of those business owners, turning friends against friends, creating a climate of fear and suspicion. You talk about things getting out of hand, Mr. Holloway, I say, my voice still quiet, but carrying an undeniable weight. This wasn't something that got out of hand. This was your strategy, a strategy built on deceit, manipulation, and the ruthless destruction of anyone who stood in your way. My family was just one casualty in a long line. The room is silent again, save for Mira's choked sobs. Her parents look stunned, as if hearing the litany of their actions laid bare for the first time has stripped away their last vestiges of denial. Then comes the offer. Money. A substantial sum, enough to compensate us for our troubles. A public apology, carefully worded, of course. Help in rehabilitating our family's reputation. Mira even offers to personally go to every person she wronged and beg for their forgiveness. My response is simple, just one word. No, Mrs. Holloway gasps. But Zara, why? We can make this right. Make it right? I echo, a hint of disbelief in my voice. You think money can make right the sleepless nights? The fear, the humiliation? Can it bring back my father's health from the stress you put him under? Can it erase the memory of what you did, not just to me, but to so many others? I look directly at Mira. You're not sorry for what you did, Mira. You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry your carefully constructed world is falling apart. If my revelations hadn't happened, you'd still be out there doing the exact same thing to someone else. I stand up. This isn't about revenge for me anymore. It's about justice. It's about ensuring that you and families like yours can't continue to operate this way, destroying lives with impunity. I reveal the final piece. The legal advocacy group isn't just looking into things. They've built a case, a strong one. Multiple families are joining a civil suit. Defamation, tortious interference with business relationships, conspiracy to commit corporate sabotage. Your daughter's meticulous records, Mira, are Exhibit A. The color drains completely from Mr. and Mrs. Holloway's faces. This is beyond social ruin. This is financial ruin, legal annihilation. The school board has also opened a full investigation, I continue, relentless, not just into the bullying, but into the systematic use of students to gather information on families for competitive advantage. Your business partners? They're already distancing themselves. Your carefully cultivated reputation? It's evaporating as we speak. The decisive downfall is swift and brutal. The lawsuit moves forward, the evidence overwhelming. Apex Consolidated stock plummets. Business partners sever ties. The Holloways, once titans of the local business scene, become pariahs. Their assets are frozen pending the outcome of the lawsuit. The whispers follow them everywhere, but now they are whispers of condemnation, not envy. Mira is eventually expelled from school, not just for the bullying, but for her role in the larger scheme. Her social network built on fear and manipulation dissolves overnight. She is left utterly alone, facing the consequences of actions she never truly believed would have repercussions for her. As they leave my house that night, their pleas for mercy turning into desperate, hollow echoes, I feel no triumph, only a quiet, somber finality. The throne they were all so desperate to build, the one Mira tried to steal, was always an illusion. And now, It's nothing but dust. 6 months, it feels like a lifetime ago that I was standing in that pink dress, the world tilting on its axis. Now, I walk through the school hallways and the whispers are different. They're not about scandal or pity, they're about respect. That's Zara Ashworth, I hear someone say. She's the one who stood up to the Holloways. It's strange. I didn't set out to be a hero. I just wanted to survive, to protect my family, to reclaim what was stolen. But in doing so, something shifted. The peer advocacy program I'd hesitantly joined, initially as a way to understand my own trauma, has become a passion. I'm a leader now, helping other students recognize the subtle signs of manipulation, the insidious ways power can be abused, even in the gilded cages of our privileged little world. We talk about digital footprints, about consent, about the difference between genuine friendship and transactional relationships. Things I learned the hard way, twice. My family's business, Ashworth Designs, didn't just recover, it's thriving. After the Holloway scandal broke, revealing the predatory tactics of Apex Consolidated, many of their former clients, and some of my father's old ones, came to us. They valued integrity, they said. They valued honesty. My father, his health remarkably improved now that the crushing weight of undeserved shame is gone, is back at the helm, his eyes bright with a renewed sense underscore of purpose. My mother smiles more. Our new home isn't as grand as the old one, but it's filled with light and laughter, and the constant comforting aroma of my mother's baking. As for Mira, the Holloways moved away after the legal settlements, their business empire in ruins, their social standing obliterated. Someone saw Mira working a weekend shift at a fast fashion retail store in a neighboring town a few weeks ago. When Emily mentioned it, a flicker of something went through me. Not pity, not satisfaction, just a mild, distant curiosity, like hearing about a character in a book you finished long ago. She's no longer a storm in my life, just a faded photograph. No longer in a position to harm anyone. That's enough. The biggest transformation, though, has been internal. The rebirth didn't just give me foresight, it gave me a different kind of strength. The first time, I was a victim, buffeted by events, consumed by grief and confusion. This Zara, the one I am now, is different. I've learned to trust my own instincts, to see the patterns, to value genuine connections over superficial alliances. My intelligence, once a passive thing, is now active, engaged. I'm no longer just reacting to the world, I'm helping to shape my small corner of it. Tonight, there's a small gathering at a local cafe. It's for the advocacy group, the lawyers who fought so tirelessly, the families who found the courage to speak out, and the students from our school program. I look around the table. Emily is laughing, her coding project having won a national award. Liam is playing a soft melody on his guitar in the corner, his music no longer hesitant but confident. Chloe is excitedly discussing her first byline in the local paper, an investigative piece on the importance of ethical business practices. And then there's Noah, a kind-eyed law student who volunteers with the advocacy group. He'd been instrumental in helping us navigate the legal complexities. He catches my eye and smiles, a genuine, uncomplicated smile that reaches his eyes. He knows my story, the whole strange, painful, unbelievable story. And he doesn't see me as broken or as a vengeful ghost. He sees me. Zara, I take a sip of my lemonade, the tartness sharp and clean on my tongue. There's a lightness in my chest, a sense of peace I never thought I'd feel again. The ghosts of my past life, of my father's pain, of my own lonely end. They're still there, but they're quiet now. They don't haunt me, they remind me. Later, walking home under a sky full of stars, I catch my reflection in a darkened shop window. The girl looking back at me isn't the frilly, frightened 16-year-old, nor is she the haunted 19-year-old wraith. Her eyes are clear, her shoulders are straight. There's a quiet strength in her gaze, a wisdom bought at a terrible price, but a wisdom nonetheless. Mira and her family tried to design a life for me, a life of shame and ruin. They tried to steal my seat, my future. But they couldn't. Because the life I have now, the one I'm building, it's not about gilded cages or stolen power. It's built on truth, on courage, on the messy, beautiful reality of genuine human connection. They wanted a throne of lies, a kingdom of manipulation. I simply chose to design a life they could never approach because it's real, and it's mine.